Out here on the road, we truckers like to think we're made of steel. But steel rusts, and sometimes the highway takes more from us than we ever expect. Before I tell you this story, make sure you subscribe to Mile Marker 31. Here we share real and supernatural tales from life behind the wheel. Stories that remind us just how fragile and dangerous this life can be.
Chapter 1. The Road from Houston. I'm 45 years old, born and raised in Texas. My wife and kids live just outside Houston, and I've spent more nights in this semi than I have in my own bed. The road has been my second home for 20 years. That morning, I pulled out of Houston with a full load bound for Boston, over 1,600 miles away. I looked in the mirror, watched the skyline fade, and knew I wouldn't see home for at least another week. Chapter 2. Life on Autopilot. Days on the road start to feel like copy and paste. Truck stops blur together, the same neon lights, the same fast food counters, the same grease-stained menus, burgers, fries, black coffee, and maybe a cigarette when the night feels too long. I tell myself I'll eat better tomorrow, that I'll walk a little more instead of sitting in this seat all day. But tomorrow never comes. My body is tired, my belly heavier than I want to admit, and my chest sometimes feels tight, but I ignore it. That's what truckers do. Chapter 3. Arrival in Boston. After 3 days of solid driving, I rolled into Boston just as gray clouds hung low over the city. The old warehouses looked like relics of another time, red brick streaked black with rain. I followed the directions to the delivery site tucked away near the harbor. The smell of salt water and diesel mixed in the air. I backed the rig into the dock, air brakes hissing, the trailer rattling as the crew prepared to unload. My job was simple now: sit and wait. Chapter 4. The Waiting Game. Rain splattered across my windshield, distorting the glow of the streetlights. I leaned back in the seat, scrolling through radio stations, static, oldies weather reports. I thought about calling my wife, just to hear her voice, but I told myself I'd call once the load was done. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting the rain's rhythm calm me. The city felt cold, unfamiliar. Chapter 5. The First Tightness. That's when it started, a strange heaviness in my chest. At first, I thought maybe it was the greasy burger from the last stop outside Connecticut, or maybe just stress. I rubbed my sternum, trying to shake it off, but the heaviness turned into pressure, like someone was pushing down on me with both hands. My left arm tingled. My breathing grew shallow. I tried to convince myself it was nothing, but deep down, I knew. Chapter 6. Memories flood in. I stared out at the rain as my vision blurred. My mind wasn't in Boston anymore. It was back home in Texas. I saw my little girl in her soccer uniform, running across the field, waving when she spotted me at the fence. I remembered promising my wife I'd take her on a vacation after this run. Just the two of us. I thought about every fast food meal, every skipped checkup, every excuse I'd made, and regret came flooding in. Chapter 7. The Battle Inside. My hands trembled as I gripped the steering wheel. The noise of the dock crew faded away, and all I could hear was my own heartbeat, loud, uneven, like a drum echoing inside my chest. I tried deep breaths, but each one felt like I was drowning in shallow water. Sweat dripped down my forehead, though the cab was cool. I whispered a prayer under my breath, begging for one more chance, one more mile. Chapter 8. Calling for help. I forced my shaking hand toward the CB radio, pressing the button. My voice cracked. "This is driver at the Boston dock. I need help, now." No one answered. My phone was on the dash, and I fumbled for it, dialing dispatch. My words slurred as I gave the address. Ambulance. Chest pain. My world narrowed to the sound of my ragged breathing and the distant siren. Wail that slowly grew closer. Chapter 9. The Edge of Darkness. Red and blue lights flashed across the wet pavement. I could barely make out the EMTs running toward my cab. The door opened, voices shouted, hands reached for me. Everything spun. The smell of rain, diesel, and antiseptic filled my senses. I drifted in and out, fighting to keep my eyes open, terrified this would be my last haul. The line between holding on and letting go was razor thin. Chapter 10. A Second Chance. When I finally woke, it wasn't in my cab. It was in a hospital bed. White walls, monitors beeping steadily, tubes running into my arms. My wife was there, her hand gripping mine tight, tears streaming down her face. Relief washed over me as I realized I was still alive. The road had almost taken me, but maybe I'd been given a second chance. A chance to change, to take better care of myself, to keep the promises I'd made. For the first time in years, I felt grateful not for the miles behind me, but for the days still ahead.
The road is unforgiving. It wears down our trucks, our minds, and sometimes our hearts. Not every driver is lucky enough to get a second chance. If this story made you think, hit that subscribe button and share mile marker 31 with someone you know. Out here, every mile carries a story, and some of them might just save a life.